Hello, let's go. Welcome back to the show tonight as we continue the march. The 2025 MLB season with our boom and bust candidates from the AL and National League Central divisions and a bunch of other stuff. But before we do that, we always begin the show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Boom! Right up. You're looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 27 for our show, part of the ball9.com podcast network.
We are 18 days away from our 72nd collective year of fantasy baseball, 18 short days. So we're here to talk some Major League Baseball with a fantasy baseball spin. In addition to Boomer Bust List, we're going to open the show tonight with a little conversation about some spring training stuff going on. Please feel free to comment. We'll try to get to them as much as we possibly can. Smash the like button. I got kids in college. Sean will have kids in college. We're trying to get paid by YouTube, and it'll give you easier access to future shows. You can always find us at ball9.com. How are you, Sean?
I'm awesome. We're getting close to draft day, the greatest single day of the year.
It is
offense to Santa Claus and the kids, but yeah, it's awesome. So
if we did a segment on the 20 greatest moments from draft day, we would not be able to air it.
No, we couldn't. We
could probably do like 14 to 20. But the top 13, no.
And nothing after 4 p.m.
No. And nothing good happens in Newburgh. Let's just leave it at that.
It doesn't. It's fun.
The food's always good, though.
Food's good.
The food's always good.
Spring training. So I thought of this question today. I want to lead off with this before we get to the Yankee MASH unit. We're getting the time of year where they're starting to post, guys are getting at bats and they're posting leaders, spring training leaders, hitting and pitching. Do you put any stock into that stuff? I do not.
I shared this with somebody with one of the fantasy gurus on the X the other day. I look at spring training for three things: health of hitters.
Yep.
Right. Guys coming back from injury. Are they healthy? Are they getting reps? Are they getting at bats? Actually, I'll take four things. Prospect hitters that could be cracking major league lineups. Are they getting at bat? One of the guys I'm going to mention in the AL Central boom, not so much. Are top of the line starters starting to build up innings? Chris Sale went 4 today. Hunter Green, despite a shitty outing, said he felt like he could have went 5 or 6 the other day. That's important to me.
Yes.
And then young pitchers that could crack rotations, or prospect pitchers that are likely to be sent down that could be bench stash or dynasty stash. I look at those guys. So I look at those guys. So like the immediacy for injury is Sean Murphy gets hurt.
Yep.
Right. And I won't go back to my catcher rankings because Sean Murphy was in my catcher rankings and you mocked me, and rightly so. But is it now the Drake Baldwin era in Atlanta? Because he probably wouldn't have made the team had their backup catcher got hurt. They would have reached into Kirk Casale or Sandy Leone, or both in camp with the Braves. But he did enough between AA and AAA last year that he warrants an opportunity. And they're the kind of team. Remember, it's the Braves we're talking about.
Yeah.
They don't bury prospects. They bring them up, and if they suck, they move them.
Yep.
Right? Like James makes a great point, right? DeGrom and Alcantara hitting 100 in spring training is a great sign, right? So, like, is velo up? Reed Detmer's velo is up again. Velocity's up again for the second year, and I will refuse to get sucked into the Reed Detmers is throwing harder than he ever has hype because A, he pitches for the Angels, and B, that fucking wagon has been burned and left in the middle of the Oregon Trail for me. I am not touching him with a 10-foot pole because I fell for that last year. And he rewarded me by going out and getting completely obliterated. The Alcantara thing is huge for me. Like, both of those guys, right? Coming off injury, they both look pretty good. DeGrom is healthy right now. I still can't count on him for more than 150 innings, but you can count on Alcantara if he's healthy for 200 to 230 innings. And
if they'll let him do that, they're going to be terrible. They'll trade him.
They don't care. They don't care.
They don't care about anything.
They don't care about, like, what are they like? Do you think they have a plan for him? Oh, he's healthy. Run him out there every 5 days, and he has earned the right. He has earned the right to dictate how he's earned the right to dictate how he gets treated. To me, he's earned the right. He's their most talented player, right? By far. But their young pitching's looking good so far. I don't put a lot of stock in lines, like in pitching lines, but Sale looked great today. Robbie Ray is off the charts right now. Another guy coming back from injury.
Yeah, look, those guys hitting 100, great. I'm going to keep Sale in our league, so I want to hear good news on him, but I just want to hear, I don't want any red crosses next to his name. Get through it. He's a veteran. He knows how to prepare. Even if a guy goes out and gets lit up, I don't really care because he might be trying a couple new pitches that day. And I
care more about if they get lit up on March 20th, 21st, 22nd, and it's been a pattern throughout spring training than I do what they're like. These guys are trying to get to 70, 80, 100 pitches before they leave.
Yes.
Before they leave Florida or Arizona. That's the bottom line, right? Good. That's the bottom line. Like, I'm trying to get to, I want, like, will I be ready to go 150 pitches, 125 pitches, day one, like we were used to growing up? No. But should I be able to go 100 to 110 on opening day? Like, aces should be ready to do that.
Should.
And if they're working to that and they're throwing, 70, 80 pitches in their third start in the spring, that's a good sign.
Hey, here's the other question. Did Marcus Stroman step in shit with Heel getting hurt, part of the Yankee mash unit? It's already starting for New York with Stanton and LeMahieu, and now you got the young pitcher.
Yeah, Porter Hodge looks good for the Cubs, doesn't he?
Step to the podium and answer the Inquisition.
So here's my today thought. My today thought is Spencer Jones is hitting the ball really well. Will Warren's pitching great. Will Warren has looked really, really good in spring training. Enough. It's enough, right? It's enough. Let Dominguez lead off. Let Jones start the season in the majors while whatever's going on with Stanton's going on with Stanton. Put Peraza at third. Let Cabrera play everywhere. Put Will Warren in the rotation. Give him major league innings. Don't send him down for more seasoning. All this bullshit that they do over and over and over again. They're a good enough team to be able to figure those guys out until the middle of May.
Yep.
And they have and by showing those prospects, you add value to those prospects because they've been seen in the major leagues as opposed to, they're minor league wonders. They're going to get traded. So that when you need to make moves at the deadline, you can make moves at the deadline. And there's still enough free agents floating around out there. Like, I can't believe they haven't at least poked around on JD Martinez. Not that I want JD Martinez, but like, he wouldn't be a terrible option at DH for them. unless he thinks he's worth. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get paid a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know. I don't know how you dictate terms when you don't have a job on March 4th.
Correct. Uncle Ted, welcome back to the show, buddy. Ooh, James, treading the Yankees here.
You know,
okay.
How about that one? So I do have a comment about that. I can't wait to see these fucking teams. The Diamond Degenerates drafted on Sunday. The only update I got two updates. James Slavin got Paul Skeens, pitcher one for me, and he says he has a great team. He said that last year. I think he finished ninth. A testament to the idiocy of your league, and maybe everybody was imbibing in what the draft selection night process.
I was just going to say, whatever they're having, I'll have
and Gunnar Henderson in the second round in a 12-team league. Like what? Put the one hitter down.
Yeah.
And stop taking the gummies and pay attention to your draft. Just
more keg stands. It keeps you balanced.
Yes.
Just keeps you balanced.
I mean, it's hard to stay awake in the 17th round.
Yes.
But you're not disoriented in the first five when it really matters. Like, you can't be disoriented in the first five.
You got to have balance. Listen, guys, we've been there. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Okay.
It is.
And you can go hard. Trust me. You can, but you maintain it. Balance. Come on.
You gotta the draft that you have to have a plan for the draft. And that plan is, as I've learned during one of our 36 drafts.
Thank you, Uncle Ted. Always set the draft you. Always
don't fall asleep in the 13th round.
No, it's bad. You might wake up with half a mustache, something like that, and God forbid the Sharpies come out. But anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why we can't list the top 20 moments in draft history.
Correct. Correct. All right. Boomer bust.
So let's start with the AL Central. We'll come back to this when we. Wow, we're lagging. We'll come back to this when at the end, and we'll give our predictions on order of finish. And we have a feature, and now it's one of our favorite features, which is we'll call it Uncle Ted Talks, where Uncle Ted will give us after we do the AL Central and the NL Central Boomer Bust, we will give you Uncle Ted's Boomer Bust for each division. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up. The bust for the AL Central is going to require some conversation.
Okay. All right.
So here's our AL Central boom. You may lead off, my friend.
Boom. I love Kerry Carpenter this year. I was in that mock draft a few weeks ago at CBS Sports. Got him real late. Projected 30 homers, 90 plus RBIs, going late in drafts. And I love that Tiger team this year. I think he's going to be a big part of it. They're going to win that division. I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, Carpenter for Detroit. Tanner Bybee, he had good numbers last year. I think he's just going to get better. He's going to get better. He's not going to kill you. He's got a good strikeout rate. Keep the whip low and get some wins on a decent team. And the other one, Seth Lugo, he was our guy last year. His ADP is way, way too low. My God, the guy, 9-pitch repertoire. There's no reason to think he's going to slow down in Kansas City. He's just being undervalued. Duran in Minnesota, let's like him as a closer. I think he's going to improve off of last year. Solidify your bullpen. You get him a little later. And the White Sox, quite frankly, I threw in Andrew Vaughn because I couldn't find anybody else on there that was even worth the time typing in the name. So yeah, Andrew Vaughn, I guess. But my God, if you're resorting to drafting White Sox in your draft, then have another beer.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, so much easier to do busts for the White Sox. So Detroit, I went with Colt Keith, and I'm not 100% sure where he's going to play. I mean, Veerling's hurt, so he'll get to play third. He may platoon with Torkelson at first, but he's got to get in the lineup. And if he starts getting every day at bats, Uncle Ted, if he starts getting every day at bats, he's not going to get out of the lineup. I think Lane Thomas got caught in the trade world last year. Like Lane Thomas, he might have got caught in a trade shock.
He did
last year.
He was on my team. I can attest to that.
And I think like being settled in Cleveland, being in a regular place in the lineup, knowing who's hitting around him, I think he's gonna have a really good year. So Lucas Erceg fits in two bills. So for our specific league, it's a crapshoot between him and Estevez as to who's going to close. But if holds are in your scoring, you got Lucas Erceg is a must draft pitcher because he's going to get you both. He's going to get holds and saves. And I think at the end of the day, he's going to end up being the closer because he strikes guys out. And Estevez does not. Estevez is not a strikeout pitcher. He gets guys out, but he's not a strikeout pitcher. So he gives you a little bit of agita. Bailey Ober, he doesn't do anything great, but all he does is pitch to a low whip. He wins games. His ERA is low. He's not your top of the rotation. He's certainly not your pitcher 1, 2, or 3. But if you're in round 13, 14, 15 and Bailey Ober's there, why would you not take him? And then for the White Sox, he was their number one prospect, and then he had a abysmal year last year until the middle of August. I can't see that Colson Montgomery won't. There's no reason to not give him the shortstop job. So that's a guy to keep your eye on. I mean, they got no options. They really don't have any options, right? So there's not. Yeah. It's not like they're not bringing Louis Aparicio back. Ozzie Guillen's not going to play. So like
Scott Fletcher.
Somebody? He might be on the roster though. So for me, it's Colson Montgomery. And now we go to bust, and you're up again. I got a problem with one of the people on these lists. I got a real problem with
one.
No, a real problem, like a real problem.
It's time to get off the Casey Mize train. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you think so?
He doesn't strike anybody out. He gets overdrafted every year based on potential. It's not going to happen. Don't draft Casey Mize. Yeah, so the Guardian closer, I have him on there. I just have a gut feeling his run at the top has run its course. I know he was probably gassed at the end of last year, but that playoff stink is still fresh. So no thanks. Let somebody else. He's going to go high in drafts. Let somebody else take him. You take somebody else. Take Batista coming off the injury, even though he's going to be monitored. I don't get it with Vinny Pasquantino. I don't get it. I just don't see it. He doesn't have solid numbers. He just doesn't have solid enough numbers to warrant where he's going to get picked. And Byron Buxton, I've drafted him. We've all done it. We've all done it, right? And he just can't stay healthy. And Luis Robert, I can't get over the one or two plays in the game in the middle of last year where he just wasn't even jogging for fly balls. I just don't think he cares. And maybe that's just the reality of playing in such a bad team that the motivation is gone. But he gave the feeling of a guy that just didn't give a shit. And you just can't buy into he's ever going to reach his potential.
I'm not even sure that he reached that part, the didn't give a shit part. He was beyond that last year.
Yeah.
He wants to get traded. There's no question about it.
I couldn't draft him this year.
So for me, sometimes guys get paid and then they're very comfortable.
Yes, you think?
And this dude, they can't sit him, despite the fact that they have prospects that could jump right in and play. They can't sit Javi Baez. Don't draft Javi Baez. Tristan McKenzie, I will tell you, no, don't do it. Like sometimes potential is all there is. And like coming back from an injury, I said earlier, so this will be a little bit of a hypocritical statement. I don't really look at pitching lines. He's getting lit up again. He's got all the stuff in the world. He doesn't have the brain to be a good pitcher. MJ Melendez, it's like 6 years of this guy's going to be good. Be good on somebody else's team. But I mean, honestly, if this is the year that you break out and be great, guess what? I'll be really happy for you because I don't root for guys to fail or to get hurt, but you're not going to be doing it on my team. And Ty France, like, are you kidding me? Like if you've jerked around so long at first base that you've got to resort to taking Ty France, you've really made a mistake. And if you follow that up with picking Martin Perez, like just say you don't care. just change your team name to I'm tanking. I got a huge problem with Vinny Pasquantino. I got a huge problem with
really
that. A huge problem.
Well, do tell, because enlighten me. I don't get it.
He's going to hit 280. He's going to hit 25 homers. He's going to drive in 100 runs on a team that scores no runs. And Uncle Ted makes a great point. Jock Cangiglione is ready, and ready to come, which means it actually devalues Sal Perez more than it devalues Pasquantino, because Pasquantino's athletic enough that they could move him to the outfield where they need some production. Like Andy Isabel doesn't do it for me. Yeah, that's right. It is, Sean. Here we go. Getting close to St. Patty's. Getting close to St. Patty's Day. Watch the Irish shit on the Italians. Here we go. You're not going to be invited to Cinema Cacciatore. I can assure you of that.
Though. Good food. Give you that.
I mean, I just like Pasquantino was almost on my boom list for the AL Central.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can draft him in our draft and go have a nice big hearty laugh and
I will be doing that.
Okay. And we'll check back in on that. And James, we're going to review this list back in October, my friend.
Uncle Ted. All right. So let's break them down.
Okay.
No particular order. This isn't in an order that I thought where they were going to finish, except for the team on the far right-hand corner. What do you think?
Me? I think if you start in Detroit, top right, move to the middle, KC, left to Cleveland, down to Minnesota, and to the right, make a perfect circle there. Not quite a circle, but you know what I mean. Detroit, KC, Cleveland, Minnesota, and the White Sox. Sorry, Uncle Ted.
I will flip-flop KC in Detroit. I don't. To get off my porch crowd, which is us. I don't think either of those two teams are going to sneak up on teams like they did last year.
Welcome back, D.
I don't think KC and Detroit are going to surprise teams like they did last year.
No, they're not.
But they didn't make enough. They didn't lose. They didn't lose enough to. They didn't lose enough to warrant regression, and they added in the right spots to maintain where they were at the end of the season. Cleveland losing Naylor is going to be a blow unless, and we'll get to Uncle Ted talks shortly, unless his guy steps up, which is entirely possible. I don't get it. I don't get it with them. You can't blow that bullpen out like they did in the playoffs. And you can't rely so heavily on your bullpen because you're in so many 3-2 games. Eventually, that's got to catch up to you. And I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, what are they doing?
They're having ownership problems.
They are having ownership problems.
And that translates into money problems.
So the savior of the White Sox, the Ibsa brothers,
yes,
the savior of the White Sox is apparently looking to buy the Twins.
Yeah, he got off. Yes.
But the process, I have to dig into that more because it's like some kind of weird. It's a longer process. He wouldn't own him for 5 years. It's not much different. It's not much different than what's going on with the Timberwolves. Like, you're going to buy an ownership stake, but you're not going to get full control. And it's like, what the, like, sell your fucking team and move on. I mean, honestly.
Had a good run. Made a couple bucks off the.
Did you hear me, Bob Nuttig? We'll get to you in a minute. You fucking idiot. But look. All right, so you got Detroit, Kansas City, Cleveland, Minnesota, the White Sox. I got Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland, Minnesota, and the woebegone.
Okay.
The woebegone White Sox, whose one mission is, I think we'll win more games than we did last year. Well, Jesus, I would hope so.
Or that mission is to get to Nashville.
Well, there is.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
I've lived it.
Another full show.
Torpedo the team, drive the fan base away, scream, "We need a new city, build us a stadium." I don't know where I've heard that before.
Oh, anyhow. I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. So now we switch. To the senior circuit. We switch to the senior circuit. This will be where
the White Sox win the division, Uncle Ted.
They
go ahead. Sorry,
Uncle Ted. You know what? I'm going to give Uncle Ted a pass.
Okay.
Just, we want him to keep coming back. He's a good contributor.
All right, NL Central.
We don't want to upset our guests. All right, go. You took my Cub guy, but
yeah, he was an afterthought because we pumped his tires so much when we talked about him on the show. I had to put him on there. Trio in Milwaukee, he's the real deal. His whole history is get off to a slow start at a new level, take 4 to 6 weeks and get it figured out. And he figured it out. He's phenomenal. Love Nick Lodolo in Cincinnati. Great strikeout rate. I think they're going to be a lot better this year. I said the same thing last year, but this year I think I'm going to get it right with Tito there running the show. Jared Jones is one of my favorite prospects in baseball. Hope to get him back on my fantasy team this year. I think he's under the radar because Skeens is so good. But Jones is solid. And one of the not nicer things that may have benefited him last year, they didn't have to worry about an innings limit with him because he got hurt and he missed a little bit of time. And I think that's going to help him out going forward. P. Crow Armstrong, we talked about him. You know, he's really, really good. And he's going to be a great fantasy player. If you can plug him in, if you need different stats, steals, he's going to help you there. And I love Mason Wynn. I had him last year on my team. The potential is there. This is the year I think he breaks out. Just a deep
position, right? He becomes an afterthought. James, trying to figure out Sean. I've only been trying to do it for 35 years. So don't start today. So for me, Trevor McGill, I'm all over Trevor McGill this year.
Yes.
There'll be in enough games that he'll be a valuable closer. He's got the stuff in the brain to be a good closer. So I'm all in on Trevor McGill. Matt McClain, if he didn't get hurt last year, he wouldn't even be on here because He would have been in our top probably 6 or 7 second basemen. He's going to settle in there. He's why they traded Jonathan India. He's that good. I think Brian Hayes has a bounce back year this year. It might not be for the Pirates. It might be someplace else. It might not be for the Pirates, but they have such little offense. It's not easy to pick a boom player not named Paul Skeens for the Pirates. Bob Nutting, you douche. And then for the Cubs, for me, it's Porter Hodge. And I know they traded for Presley, but I think they're going to realize that Presley's better suited for setup, which is what he was always better suited for in Houston. And Hodge was really good for them last year. Really good for them last year. And he throws nothing but BBs. And then for the Cardinals, just like the movie Draft Day, I have a piece of paper that says Victor Scott no matter what.
I think you misspelled it.
What, no matter what? I don't know. I just scribbled it down and okay. I did it left-handed and I'm not ambidextrous.
I'll buy that.
I love Victor Scott this year. I think this is I think when we get to your bust for St. Louis, it'll be why you'd even like him even more. He's going to steal a ton of bases. He's going to get on base. He's going to score runs.
Okay.
So I'm all over Victor Scott this year. Now we go to bust. Dude, really?
What?
Why are you disrespecting Christian Yelich like that?
Because he has a ball guy. That's why.
Crying about Bob
Preseason projections on CBS as the 9th best player in fantasy baseball. He was having a great year last year. He was having a nice Christian Yelich year. And then the back injuries don't get better. Okay. No. You might be able to put them away for a little while, but they always come back. I'm old. I know. And I'm, it's when are you going to have to pick him? Okay. Someone's going to take him early. They're going to see that projection. They're going to see all the potential there. They're going to see an MVP guy, but he's diminished and he's not going to be worth the investment. I agree with you on Diaz. I took it to heart when we did our relief pitchers and you brought him up.
Jesus Christ.
Look, to me, closers are a dime a dozen. They just give me a few saves, give me a decent strikeout rate. Yeah, whip, okay, make it good. Just don't give me the 2/3 of an inning, 7 hits, 7 runs, a couple of walks thrown in there.
That's your guy.
That's your guy.
That's your man right there.
Devastating. And David Bednar, coincidentally enough, I just described his entire first 2 months last year when he was on Team Pugsley Baseball. So welcome to the list, pal. Nico Horner is a very good baseball player. I can't live with the 8 home runs. In my fan, you just can't have it. And he didn't steal 70 bases like Juan Pierre. He'll steal 40, which is awesome, but he kills you in those other categories.
Yeah.
Jordan Walker, I don't know if it's just a St. Louis thing with Jordan Walker because he has all the tools. It hasn't come together, but no thanks. He can figure it out on somebody else's team. I won't draft him.
We'll get to this. This is a great question.
Yeah,
we'll get to this. So for me, Aaron Savale, he's good enough to be in a major league rotation. He's not good enough to consider as a fantasy pitcher, except for like a third of his starts where you're like, man, I got to get that guy. Gavin Lux, no. Come on, no. You're going to learn how to play third base now? You can't make the throw from short. You're going to make the throw from third? Christ, I thought Tito Francona was a genius. In Pittsburgh, Jack Sawinski, like, how about no? How about we've been talking about you being good since 2020. You have a week where you hit 3 homers, driving 11 runs, and hit 430, and then like 2 weeks later, you're back in AAA. No. Ian Happ and Nico Horner are the same guy for me.
Yeah.
Like Ian Happ,
I almost put Ian Happ on here.
if I was making a team, I'd want Ian Happ on my team.
Yes.
Right. He can give me time at third base. He can DH. He can play left field. He does everything really well as a baseball player. From a fantasy standpoint, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do enough. He does enough to consider having him on your roster, but not enough to activate him and make him active in your lineup on a weekly basis. In a deeper league, good one, right?
Yeah.
In a deeper league, like you got 5 outfielders, he's a good 5th outfielder in a deeper league. And then Brandon Donovan, I don't know, he's going to get at bats. They've been talking about trading him. They don't know where he's going to play. He's not going to play in front of Gorman. He's not going to play in the outfield. Doesn't come enough ground. He's got to play every day, or he has to play every day because he's that kind of hitter where he has to play a lot to be able to get in some kind of a groove as a hitter. And when he gets in a groove, he's a good hitter. He's not going to get playing time there. So why hope he's going to get it? He's going to spell Contreras at first base. He's going to spell Gorman at second. Like maybe they'll try him at third if Arenado needs a day off. So what's he playing 3 days a week?
Yeah.
He's not the kind of player. You can't do that for that kind of player. And if you're in a roto league, you don't want 3-day-a-week players. You want 6-day-a-week players.
Yeah. So after we do this, I want to go back to the AL Central for D's question. If I had to pick one guy on here that could not be a bust, I would say it's Happ, because he does enough to warrant a bench spot on your team, and maybe you could play him if he's got a 4-game roadie in Colorado or something. He's not going to kill you if the schedule is right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to me, it's Bednar because 2 years ago, he was lights out. 2 years ago, he was lights out.
Closers are fickle, and I have a long memory.
Closers are very fickle, but to me, he's the guy that he figured it out for long stretches last year. And when he figured it out from May 15th to September 1st, he was really good. He was every bit as good as he was the year before. I mean, obviously for me on the AL side, it's Pasquantino. I already mentioned that. I don't understand. I don't. You can spin that any way you want to.
Your list? I don't know. I don't think any of them are any good.
It's probably, you know who it probably is of everybody on this list? It's probably Lewis Robert.
He should
Lewis
be
Robert.
better.
Lewis Robert probably has the best chance to not be a bust of anybody on this list. Because if he's half-ass motivated, or if he gets traded, or if they start talking about him getting traded and he knows he needs to produce to get traded, he's probably the guy.
Yeah. All
so
right.
Now let's unveil Uncle Ted Talks.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this.
And we're going to start with the Central Boom, because I mean, you want Pete Crow Armstrong, of course, and then as I mentioned when we were talking about the Guardians, if Kyle Manzardo, if they put him at first base and they leave him there, and they don't screw around with him, because he was a little up and a little down last year, and Tampa, of course, manipulated his service time. I can see, like, and Uncle Ted loves the left-hand hitters.
Yes, he does.
But a left-hand hitter in Cleveland is a good thing. And then the bust, I have to wonder if we were talking to the frozen head of Uncle Ted.
Whoa. Wow.
I don't see it. So
I do. I see it. O'Neill Cruz and Bobby Witt Junior.
I get so I understand the O'Neal Cruz. I can make a case for him having a bad year, switching positions. Here is the direct quote. Here's the direct quote. Give me a second, because I said to him, "You might need to explain Bobby Witt," and he said, "That's what people said last year when I said bullshit was a bust." Also, LOL.
Okay.
So if you look at ADP, right, and he's second right now.
Second. First, and say he went. I did that mock league with CBS Sports. Those dudes. He went first.
So if you're looking at regression based on a career year, and don't forget, Uncle Ted is also vehemently lobbying that Gunnar Henderson is going to win AL MVP. You can make a case that Bobby Witt would regress to the point where he's going to be overdrafted based on ADP.
Yep.
And then Uncle Ted also is allergic to right-hand hitters.
Yes, he is.
Very allergic.
He is averse to them.
Very much so. Very, very much so. What was his? We were chit-chatting the other night, and it's 72 or 73% of MLB pitchers are right-handed. So, I mean, I appreciate the graphics. I can see how you make a case for Bobby Witt. I make an easier case for O'Neal Cruz as an overdrafted player. I would still take him, but
yeah,
he wasn't a great shortstop. I don't know. I mean, they were so far out of it last year when they started moving him to center field. I didn't even really pay a whole lot of attention to how he did defensively out there. Plus, I was too busy joining my friends from Pittsburgh and trying to get Bob Nutting to sell that team to Mark Cuban in the worst possible way. Like, do anything. Just do anything.
Before we go to the NL, I think it's Witt. I think the Orioles have enough young talent. If you took one of them off for a 3-week stay on the injured list, I think the Orioles are in a better position to offset losing Henderson over Witt.
Oh yeah, by far. I mean, Oh man, if Witt got hurt for, if he was 21 days on the IL, they'd be screwed.
Yeah, they're a good team, but except for the
but they don't score. Their margin for error with scoring runs is very low, and he's the juice for that whole thing.
But they got Vinny Pasquantino to pick up the slack.
This is you're mocking me now.
Yes,
I am.
Mocking
me now. I know.
And James,
I'm an easy target. Here we go again. Pick on the fat kid. It's fine.
Big boned.
All right. So these are clearly in no particular order.
Alcides Escobar, by the way, Uncle Ted.
I am saying Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Pirates, Cardinals, and I can't believe I'm saying the Cardinals are finishing in last. They are not the same team. They're not the same organization they were 4 years ago.
No, they're not.
Not even close.
No.
Not even close. Tito's going to make a difference in Cincinnati.
Oh, I think he will.
It's just whether those guys will listen to him or not.
So give me yours one more time.
Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Pirates, Cardinals, and Cubs, Reds, Brewers is going to be a steel cage match the entire season. Like right down to the last week.
We agree on St. Louis finishing last. I like Cincy, and I'm going to give you the story of the summer. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Cubs third, Brewers fourth.
The Pirates don't score enough runs, man. They have no offense.
I
Like
love that.
Brian Reynolds is an all-star caliber player. O'Neal Cruz is a budding superstar. They have no first baseman. Nick Gonzalez at second, no. I don't know who's playing short. Brian Hayes is going to have a great year. One of my favorite players of all time and the current face of the Pittsburgh Pirates is 37 years old. And he's not the MVP that he was when he won it there.
No, he's not.
And he's 264 with 18 to 20 homers and 60 RBIs. And that's not terrible for him. But it's not like they need 320, 30, 120 out of a guy that can't do that anymore. And then like Jack Sawinski, come on, stop with the Jack Sawinski. Like enough with the Jack Sawinski stuff.
Okay.
Their bullpen is a little shaky. Their starting pitching is potentially really good. And then they decided to sign Andrew Heaney, and they tanked everything by signing that schlub.
Yeah,
like Jamie Moyer light. He's going to be.
Yeah,
he's going
that's a tough
to.
one to square
If he had as many kids as Jamie Moyer, he'd be Jamie Moyer part 2. Skeens, Jones, and Keller at the top of the rotation are really, really good. So they'll be in 3 out of 5 games. I mean, I saw some stuff the other day of Skeens showing off his 2 new pitches.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I watched him pitch the other day.
Like you're already not fair.
Yes.
Like it's already not fair to face you. And now you added a changeup and a 2-seam fastball, and it's just not fair. And he's still learning it, and he's better at it than half the league. Like he's the best pitcher to me. He's the best pitcher in baseball, and it'll be even less close this year.
I'll tell you what.
Scuball and Wheeler are great. Skeens is going to be. He's must watch every single time he pitches.
I have a short tolerance for watching a lot of spring training baseball. I can usually do an inning or 2, and then I just kind of stop caring. I was as riveted as watching Skeens pitch the other day as I've been in years. And the last time I can remember saying that about a pitcher, it was Greg Maddux during his heyday 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You just Friday night, give me a box of cold ones, put it in the cooler, and sit down for an hour and 51 minutes and watch a guy just throw just some beautiful, beautiful pitches up there with, just placement. Skeens is in that category. You got to watch him pitch.
Uncle Ted makes a great point. They got Thomas Harrington coming. They got Bubba Chandler probably missed the opportunity to make the rotation when they signed Heens. But they got Harrington and Chandler coming. And the last time they had a stable of pitchers like this, they traded them all. Every single one of them. They traded every single one of them. Like they traded them all because Bob Nutting is a douche. Like that's just the way it goes. You can't. Ben Cherington can be the greatest general manager in the history of Earth. When an owner doesn't let you do your job, you can't win baseball games. And they signed literally nothing. I mean, Joey Bart could break out at catcher this year. I mean, he's finally starting to show what the Giants thought he was going to be after Posey retired. He was supposed to be the heir apparent, but I'll be there. I'll be there April 4th. I will be in a seat in Pittsburgh. The Yankees open in Pittsburgh. Their Pirates opening day is Friday the 3rd. And the Yankees are in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and I will be in Pittsburgh at one of my favorite stadiums on earth with a Thurman Munson jersey on to watch the Pirates and the Yankees.
Nice.
And nobody will say boo to me. They won't. they just won't care. They won't care. Because Skeens will pitch on Friday. I'll probably get Keller on Saturday against, I don't know, who the hell knows who's going to be healthy by then. But my luck, it'll be Carlos Rodon. Pirates will win. I'll be mad that the Yankees lost. I'll be mad the original O's not open anymore. It'll be terrible. But back to the Berg for opening weekend for the Pirates. I mean, I do think everybody should start learning the Go Cubs Go song, because I think we're going to be singing it a lot.
It would be awesome, because I love it when the Cubs are good. Wrigley Field.
Ted.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks for the contribution again.
Yeah, always.
Wrigley Field is electric. I was only there once, and it's
the best.
Glorious. Anyway, next week, National League, American League, Western divisions.
Yeah, maybe some Ohtani talk.
Boom or bust.
I'm putting Ohtani on my bust list. Fuck it. I've had enough. I can't take it anymore.
Well, the interesting thing is, and it goes to Uncle Ted, putting Bobby Witt on the bust list. It's because the guy's on a bust list doesn't mean he's going to have a really bad year. He's not worth his draft ranking.
Shohei Ohtani up in
ADP.
Shohei Ohtani coming up to bat in 13 days, 4 hours.
Yeah, no shit.
Fox will start scrolling that pretty soon.
All right.
No, on that point, like just a quick point on.
Go ahead.
So MLB and ESPN have decided they're going to end their relationship.
Yes.
And I'm sure you will echo this. Like, once John Miller and Joe Morgan left Sunday Night Baseball, it's been pretty much unwatchable since. But the nerve of ESPN to tell MLB they'll continue a contract that was $500 million if they'll do it for $200 million. When they stop baseball tonight, ESPN doesn't cover baseball anymore.
No, they don't.
So for all the people that are lamenting that ESPN won't have Sunday Night Baseball, there will be a better option. I guarantee it.
Oh,
and it might be MLB.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Even if it's TNT, I don't even care. It's going to be better. It's going to be better than what it was, because it's been bad.
All you need is a commitment to cover the sport. That's it.
Yeah, they don't have it right now.
Yeah, hey, look, before we go, by the way, I wanted to thank you on behalf of the Raider Nation for that third-round pick that we got for Devontae Adams, who was released today by the Jets. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We're up to $52 million in cap space.
All right, next week, we're going to plan next Tuesday, right?
We are planning next Tuesday.
We will plan next Tuesday. Hold on.
It might be Wednesday. I may have a commitment on Tuesday. It might be Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, James, Thomas, everybody who chimed in.
Yeah. Thanks to the Diamond Degenerates. I can't wait we'll get you guys on after we'll rip through. We got like 2 more weeks of stuff we got to cover, and then we'll get you guys on for a recap of your draft. I'm sure it'll be riveting, you idiots. Fucking Kyle Tucker, pick 8, Gunnar Henderson in the second round. I can't wait to see that.
Uncle Ted's not going to be able to sleep tonight when he tries to soak in that. All right. God. We're out.
What are we doing? We're out.
No, we're out. All right. We'll see you all next week.
Adios. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.